Let's talk about one of the most important topics for today, and that's Mission Shakti, the ASAT weapon. Now, ASAT is the anti-satellite weapon that has been developed by India, and India is the fourth nation after America, Russia and China to do so. This was tested in the low Earth orbit, that's the LEO. Now, why is LEO significant? LEO is significant because in this range you have high bandwidth and low communication latency that is seen, and most of the satellites are used for communication. So, communication, which becomes a very important aspect of our day-to-day life now, the voice, data and so on, could be interrupted if there is a weaponization that could occur in space in this region. Now, the major twist is how India circumvented the Civil Nuclear Agreement. As per the 2005 Indo-US the Civil Nuclear Agreement that was done, India is the only nuclear nation besides the NPT nations which has the nuclear commerce power to be done with other nuclear weapon nations, and this would have ended if India unilaterally tests the ASAT missiles. There were only 3 probabilities that were laid forward. First is what we did, it should be in the low Earth orbit such that the debris falls back to the Earth, and on re-entry it's burned up, does not create any space debris. Now with the space weaponization race, space debris has been a major issue. Kelser syndrome talks about the collision of high density low Earth orbits could lead to a lot of space debris, and that is something that needs to be prevented. So that was one way that we finally did through the Mission Shakti. There were other 2 methods that were proposed or we could have possibly been done. That was the jamming satellite. Jamming satellite, by using soft skills, the idea was the space-based laser would target the satellite and this would leave no debris. So that was another option. And third was a flyby technique whereby the target would fly past it without destroying it. So out of these 3, the only possibility that we did was destroying the satellite within 3 minutes, and basically that was in a range of 300 kilometers. As a result, the debris re-entered the Earth, and on re-entry it was burned and did not create any space debris. So out of any question of the sanctions. Now coming on to the ASAT missile system. ASAT missile system has been very important for development. In 2011, it was first talked about that India should have its own anti-weapon systems, and since then DRDO and ISRO has been working in line. So there were 2 components of it. One was AAD, the other was PAD. AAD talked about the advanced air defense, or what we call as Ashwin ballistic missile interceptors, that is basically in a height of interception of 30 kilometers or endo-atmospheric. The next is PAD, which is the Pradyumna ballistic missile interceptor, or what is also known as the Prithvi air defense. Now this is exo-atmospheric with an interception of 50 to 80 kilometers and hence is very important. So the technology that has been used by India is the anti-ballistic missile defense system. Now this anti-ballistic missile defense system has its own importance because this has been talked about since long, and low Earth orbits and polar orbits could be the targets for those. The space weaponization has been a debatable issue, similar to what we can say cyber warfare is. So the threats for the country, the security issues for the country are indeed very important. And if this is affected, what all could be affected? For we as a common human being, we could understand the communication systems could be affected, the navigation systems could be affected, the signal intelligence could be affected, and definitely you could have kind of imagine a world without mobiles, a world without a country without voice or data. So in order to protect that, you have to have this capability, and that's what is the ASAT Vande Mataram.